Today on 321 Liftoff, we are live on location at yet one more attraction that centers around one of the greatest movies ever made is soon to make its debut that will help make Florida's Space Coast a super family destination. We are at a place that will be the delight to everyone at any age. This is a museum where all childhood memories will come to the forefront of everyone's mind and take you back in time to a land of fantasy that will evoke emotions of excitement, happiness, drama, and even fear. This attraction is about a musical adventure where the main message from this movie is to face your fears, overcome challenges, and understand that what you seek is often already inside you. Where are we? You'll find out. Coming right up, right here on 321 Liftoff.
Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Welcome to 321 Liftoff. I'm Wayne Belden, the president of Belden Communications, the publisher of the Space Coast Fun Guide and SpaceCoastFunGuide.com. We'll be bringing you 321 Liftoff each week, talking about tourism on Florida's fabulous Space Coast. With me is the host of 321 Liftoff, Bonnie King, former deputy director of the Space Coast Office of Tourism, as well as the past president of the Florida Film Commission. Bonnie, are we ready to blast off on 321 Liftoff?
Hey! I think we are, and we have followed the yellow brick road to get here. And here we are at the newest attraction that is going to be soon to open here on Florida Space Coast. It's the Wizard of Oz Museum. And we've already run into Dorothy herself, the lion, the scarecrow, the Tin Man, and even the Wicked Witch. And all of this is brought to us by our guest today, which is Fred Trust. And he has a Wizard of Oz collectibles, over 2,000 that are located here in this museum. And that's where we are today, and we're going to talk about this amazing attraction which is opening soon. As you all know, 321 Liftoff is brought to you by the Beachside Hotel and Suites in Cocoa Beach, offering a great overnight vacation destination, and also by the Longboards Tiki Bar and Grill, located at the Hilton Oceanfront in Cocoa Beach, offering a fabulous place to meet your friends and have some great food in a great ambiance. And of course by the Space Coast Fun Guide, where you learn what there is to see and do on Florida's Space Coast. So joining me over the rainbow at the end is my very good friend John Belden, Vice President of Belden Communications. How you doing?
Good morning, Bonnie. And I got to tell you, lions and tigers and bears,
Oh
oh
my.
my. We are in Ozland, and I'm going to tell you, if my wife is watching right now, she's excited. She's a big fan of Wizard of the Oz. So we're going to learn a lot here today, and I'm excited to find all the new things that I didn't know and just to get reacquainted with the movie. And we're here with my good friend Phil, our producer. How you doing there, Phil?
I have never seen this movie.
Oh gosh, we do this.
Oh my God!
You got to get out.
This
should be
guy,
arrested.
he's hidden.
You should be
I
arrested.
can't believe it.
That's true. I'm sorry. I've never seen it.
And of course, the president of Belden Communications, my father, Wayne Belden. How you doing there, Pop?
I am so excited to be here. All childhood memories surround you in this museum, and when I walked in here, my memories hit me right away. I'll never forget. It was 1953. I was 8 years old. My parents took me to Radio City Music Hall in New York City to see this because color had not yet come to TV. Everything was black and white to that point. They were experimenting with it, but it wasn't until years later that color TV came out. So they took me to Radio City Music Hall to see it. The color in that was just unbelievable. And to walk in here and see all that, I'm reminded of all of it. So we're excited to be here. Okay.
Hey, everybody loves a fairy tale. And here to tell us that there is no place like home and to have us believe it is our guest today, which is Fred Trust. Great name, by the way, Fred. I like that. So we're glad that you're here. You've got to tell us how in the world, out of all the places in the United States, that you decide to bring the Wizard of Oz Museum right here to Florida Space Coast.
Doing the research as far as where to place my Wizard of Oz memorabilia, I was torn between the Orlando area and the Cape Canaveral. And mostly I decided in Cape Canaveral based on fact that there are way too many attractions in Orlando area, although there is no Wizard of Oz. But Cape Canaveral offered the opportunity, being right next to the cruise line, where we have 4.5 million visitors boarding on the ship. We have Kennedy Space Center with 1.5 million, and we have a proximity to the Orlando airport and actually to Orlando area. So anybody who is in Orlando area theoretically can get in the car and be in the museum in less than an hour.
Well, it's great for us that we have another attraction that we get to promote to our area, not only for our beautiful beaches that we have here, the Kennedy Space Center, the cruises that we do have, and just as you said, we got to mention our airport because, again, flying directly right there into the Melbourne International Airport was great. So we're glad you're here. So you just need to tell us about what we see when we step into Ozland, when we step into this museum and see, I mean, you go back, way back, to Fred Baum. Is it Fred Baum?
Frank Baum.
Frank Baum, sorry, yes. I got your name mixed up, but yes. So tell us about that. I mean, when did you start collecting all this stuff?
I was familiar with the book. I mean, I was read to us by the children. I'm from former Soviet Union, and I remember as a child, like 9, 10 years old, the teacher was reading us this book, like maybe 10 minutes every class, and I remember how excited we were waiting to listen to the story. Of course, in the former Soviet Union, everybody realized or knew that this is the Russian story. But in reality, when the movie came out in 1939, one of the translators, his name is Volkov, actually translated the story, and it presented to everyone that this is the Russian story. So everybody grew up and think this is the Russian story. When I get to U.S. and I start looking for the books to read to the kids, and the Wizard of Oz pop up in the memory. I start looking to find the books, and I start looking and see many books with the Oz name inside. Based on my research, I find out that there is a lot of books with the Oz name, and become curious, started get involved. Had a background in computer science. I put the website, start putting some information about the Oz and Oz memorabilia, start noticing over 500 people coming on a daily basis to look for the information, and I provided that for the website, and that gave me the avenue to obtain collectible from people because they found me through the website. With my skills, I'd be able to be on a first position in Google before the eBay and Amazon, and I have a chance to buy all the stuff for like 20, 25 years ago when I started.
That's unbelievable because I didn't even know that there were other Oz books. I mean, I always thought it was the Wizard of Oz.
Wait, really? There are?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
No, I thought that was it.
And then you see, I mean, you can see all the Oz books here. They're all on display here. And you go back a long time.
Right. The first original book was written in 1899, but it published actually in 1900. And then we have books by Frank Baum, and he actually wrote 14 of them before he passed away. So we have from 1913 to 1920 books almost like every year.
Wow.
And
I wonder where he got the idea. You know, I wonder what was going through his mind that he thought, I'm going to write a story about this Wizard of Oz. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
well, his mother-in-law, who was activist in the women's rights, she was the friend with Susan Anthony at the time. She influenced him in writing. Although he was in a different business before, he was in a newspaper, he was in the oil industry, he was trying to be a salesman to sell the decoration for the windows. Until he actually got to the 44 years old, he is never done anything with the publishing. So his actually first children book, it's called New Wonderland, was actually written in 1896, but he never be able to publish until 1900. And that's the year when the Wizard of Oz book was actually published.
What a history. I mean, who knew?
Not me.
I didn't even know that.
I mean, for me, it's just, I remember seeing the movie for the first time, and just like when Wayne was saying, it's full of like fear and anxiety and, all that together. I mean, who knew that there was all this stuff? And also, just want to point out that when you first come into the museum, you start like in the 1900s,
Right.
and then you can go around. Here's 1920, here's 1939. You go all around the museum, and you see a lot of different things that were happening during that era. Now, the interesting thing at the beginning where you have Frank Baum, you even have a book that he dedicated or wrote to his daughter.
To his sister.
His sister, okay. So how did you get that? Did you meet her or?
No. So theoretically, because I have a website dedicated to the Oz books, because I was originally started with the Oz books, I have people contacted me and say, hey, I found this book. What do you think of it? What is it worth? And I have an opportunity to say, hey, I'm eventually planning to open the museum, and that may be museum quality, and I offer them whatever the amount is worth. But the book we're talking about, Frank Baum had sisters that he really loved. And her name is Mary Louise. And in the books that I have on display, he actually plays the message saying, to my dear loving sister, Mary Louise Brewster, because she got married. And he, instead of signing as the L. Frank Baum, he just put it LFB because, of course, she knew who he was. And later on, he wrote the whole series for the books called Mary Louise.
Oh, okay. So there's a whole series of books. Wow. See? Learn something new every day. I had no idea. I had no idea. So right behind you also, and I don't know if the camera picks it up, but are the Wizard of Oz, are the red shoes. There's no place like home. The ruby red. I don't know if it can be seen. I can't see on the camera, but
I'm showing it.
It's pretty interesting.
Yep.
And then, so tell us about, one of the great things too is the photo opportunities that these kids are going to love. The kids are going to love to come in. You've got life-size Scarecrow, Tin Man, Dorothy, the Wicked Witch. The kids are going to love to have their picture taken with that. So tell us about some of the cool things that you can do while you're here.
Well, the intention of the museum is really more like educational. So we want to make sure that people understand that if they love Wizard of Oz books, that there's a continuation of the story, so they can continue read. And there's over 1,000 Oz books, but there's only some of them collection, actually 40 of them considered collectible.
Wow.
And from that point on, I want to make sure I had these stories where people calling me and telling me, my daughter, I'm reading the chapters every night to my 4-year-old daughter, and she wants to see the book with color illustrations. And most of the books are published after 1935. They removed the color illustration because they try to save cost of printing. And I asked him, wow, that's interesting because they're not available in public domain to anybody to grab. And I said, she was 4 years old, and you're reading, in which book are you stopping? And he said, I'm on book number 25.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Wow. All right. And we're talking about 4 years old because he started with the Baum books, and Baum books do have a color illustration. You can get them on the later reprint. But Thompson's book that should continue the story, they're not available. And she was asking him if she can get the picture because it's building a lot of imaginations in kids to read the stories, and not only reading them, but the actual association, the image to the story. And like I said, there is over 40 books. And when people discover that, that's what's getting exciting about it. In any of those books, you have pirates, you have different animals, you have any specific book dedicated to any specific character, like we have a book dedicated to the Cover of the Line. In the second book of Frank Baum, he introduced the character called Jack Pumpkinhead for that it used in the Halloween. But Ruth Thompson, for example, later on in 1929, wrote a book dedicating everything to Jack Pumpkinhead. We have a pirates in 1930.
Never heard of a Jack Pumpkin.
Yeah, that's a new one.
It's right there.
I see it, yeah.
That'd be a good costume for Halloween, I think.
Yeah.
Jack Pumpkinhead.
Right.
Crazy.
So there was a whole
crazy.
book for the lion, you said?
Yeah, it's called Cover the Line of Oz, right there, third book on the top.
Gotcha. Yeah, I didn't know that. Wow.
So what does it do? Go into the history of how he became a cowardly lion? Or, I mean, I don't know because this is all new to me.
Well,
But you don't want to give it away?
it's not that. There's just the story because there's a political way to get to it, and there's a children ways to get to it.
Right.
So, of course, there is no intro why he cowardly, but of course, later on, I mean, I let visitors to find out themselves by reading the books.
Right. Okay.
You know,
All right.
there's something very interesting about the lion. A lot of people don't know. Obviously, I did some research in preparation for this program. The costume that Burt Lahr, who was the actor that portrayed the lion, was made of actual lion pelts, and it weighed 100 pounds.
Oh, wow.
And so
Get outta here.
he lost about 15 pounds in trying to produce this movie.
That's right.
Wow.
Can you imagine? It was a good, he looked good.
Yeah, he did a fantastic story. I mean,
Well, what a segue.
Wow.
To the 3 things you need to know, brought to you by Beachside Hotel and Suites. So 3 things you need to know is a fun segment that we like to run each week, telling us a little about maybe some interesting things that our listeners didn't know about the guests we're sitting with. So, Fred, maybe you can give us a few things about the Wizard of Oz or your museum that maybe the people listening you don't. I've already gotten a handful of them, so maybe you got a few select.
Okay, let's start with Oz. With the word Oz, is anybody knows where the Oz came from?
The wizard.
I do,
it was a land.
but I can't tell you because that was a trivia question.
Oh,
okay.
it was, yeah.
No, where'd it come from?
Okay,
Can I say it?
there's 2 versions to that answer. First version, Frank Baum, when they're writing the book, he tried to find a place, and he had a file cabinet, and in that file cabinet there was letters labeled A to N and O to Z. So when he looked at it, he said,
He said,
"Oh,
that's
Oz."
neat.
And
works.
that's one version, and the second version, there's a whole history about the time when he was reading about the gold and silver standards, and the yellow brick road represented the gold standard, and gold measured in ounces.
Look at that.
OZ.
Oh,
I like it.
well, that makes sense.
I like
Okay.
that.
Clever.
Filing cabinet
Very
story.
clever.
Yep. Interesting.
Okay, let's say the second one. I was actually giving away the second one, but I was thinking of asking how many Oz Books officials out there, and of course I already told the visitors before there's 40, so I will come up with another trivia. Bob Epson, who played Tin Man, original Tin Man before Jack Haley, do you know from which era he is?
Buddy
era?
Epson, 1930s.
1939.
Oh, 1939.
Wow.
And Buddy
1939.
Epson, we all know Buddy Epson from the Beverly Hillbillies.
Oh, yeah, we all know him from that.
Yeah. Did you know that? Did you know that?
No, I did not
See,
know
I,
that.
I figured
Right.
you may not know that.
He's too young.
He's
Yeah, well. Okay, anyway, so he's from Orlando area.
Really?
And he actually, right here in Cocoa Village, he was actually teaching dancing in the 1950s.
I did not know
Wow.
that.
We have such
Wow.
greatness here in the
I
Space
did
Coast.
not know that.
Yeah, you and I are here.
That's right.
Wow.
We're probably the star of the whole
Yeah,
county, right?
absolutely.
So Buddy Epson, tell us the story of Buddy Epson then.
Well, there is a story as far as the reason he removed from the movie.
No, I thought that there was more to Buddy Epson. I think that Wayne was mentioning something that Buddy was originally going to be
Tin Man,
Tin Man.
Tin Man. Oh, okay.
right? And then based on the paint or
On the silver, the aluminum paste that they would put to color to match the aluminum, okay, had aluminum in it, and he was allergic
He's
to it.
allergic to it.
And he got very sick and almost died.
So that's a trivia thing, is that who knew that Buddy Epson was, the original, was going to be in the movie.
What a heck of a way to find out you're allergic to that kind of paint. You
Yeah.
almost die while you're trying to shoot a movie.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
And the last one, maybe 2 questions related to the same thing. Is anybody know what is the #1 song of the 20th century?
The #1 song of the 20th century.
Happy Birthday?
Oh, no, it would be Over the Rainbow.
That's
Has to be
right.
Over the Rainbow.
And
Yeah.
here's the second question. Who wrote that song?
Over the Rainbow?
Or not the why? Well, it's gonna. Not everybody knows, but it's actually written by one of the immigrants from former Soviet Union, and
Really?
he lives in Israel.
Wow.
And he was trying to feel about going home, and he wrote that song.
That's where it came from?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Wow.
Neat.
When did you come here? When did you come to the United States?
I came in 1980, so it's 41 years ago.
Wow. Wow.
I can't believe that 1980 was like 42
Yeah, I
years
know.
ago.
I was born in '83, so let's not bring that up. But that was the three things you need to know. Brought to you by Beachside Hotel and Suites, and of course, Beachside Hotel and Suites, our wonderful sponsor, located in Cocoa Beach, Florida. And we talk about families that are going to come here to this museum. When you come to the Space Coast, that's where you want to stay. Is at Beachside Hotel and Suites. They bring you everything. They give you everything. You want to go onto the beach? They're going to give you the beach towels, the beach buggies, the bicycles, boogie boards. They got an awesome lazy river, which that's our favorite thing when we're
That is
being
our
on
favorite
vacation is
thing.
to be lazy. Duck dive bar, beautiful food. I mean, you got to go check them out. They did a huge $6 million renovation, so the place is fantastic, beautiful.
And the colors are beautiful. And I was just there this week, and I got the other thing. I love their pizza, but
Yes.
you know what else? Pretzel. That
Oh, don't
pretzel.
get me started on
Yeah,
pretzel.
I know. So anyway, but
Yeah, I
you know,
love
you
pretzel.
can watch football on the weekends. And
NFL ticket. They got.
There you
They,
go.
they have a duck dive mermaid that's there. So go check them out. And at their website,
is beachsidehotels.com.
awesome.
Yes,
Thank you,
Beachside
guys.
Hotel, CocoBeach.com. Definitely. Call up Michelle Martindale. She's their sales director. She will take very good care of
Yes, she
you.
will.
I'm taking
Yes, she
some
will.
bookings as the mermaid this weekend, so
There you
I'll
go.
I'll be back
You gonna be the mermaid?
again.
No, we're going to have you sit down and
sexy
watch
mermaid.
a movie. We're going to have you. We got to get you
Put them in the
educated.
pool. Put on Wizard of Oz. Then we got a whole
there you
we got a
go.
whole checklist of stuff we got to
Hey,
do.
that's a good one. You know, they show duck dive movies, and
Mm-hmm.
so that could be a good one that they could. And then we'll get you over there with your son, so
Just
you
as
can
long
see
as you
that
bring me
movie.
some pizza. That's it.
Man, that pizza
from
was
there.
off the chain, right? Yeah.
I'll tell you what. Okay, so the other thing we want to talk about is you've got a special room that when you open the door, you're going to be in Dorothy's house, and you look through the window, and the tornado is coming. Describe this immersive reality that we're going to have.
Okay. Since my background in computer science, I was always want to have that type of experience for people to be like in the movie. So only recently, because the computer technology advances maybe in computer power every year by double it, in the past couple of years, it was possible to produce something like similar that you can output it to the huge room and to display. It had started in Europe, where many people are aware of something called Immersive Van Gogh that actually arrived to the United States last year and been shown in over 30 cities. So when I saw that exhibition, I thought, wow, we are finally here to making something like Wizard of Oz place where you can be right in the movie. So I got that idea when I was looking for the building to rent. I was for leasing. I was actually looking for the huge rooms that would have people can walk in and have projections to all four walls, including the floor. So I hired the designer, explained to him what I need to do, and we decided they're going to have 5 different scenes. The first scene is going to be the people going to walk into the Dorothy's house. Through the windows of the Dorothy's house, they will see tornado coming. When tornado going to come, it will blow one of the walls away from the house, and you through that wall, and of course through the window. Also, you will be inside the tornado.
Oh boy,
Wow, like a wind tunnel.
Wow.
that'll be
this
fun.
Yeah, right.
That'll be
right.
fun.
Better have a hairbrush with you.
Yeah, so we're bringing so much computer power to make these things happen, and like I said, it's going to be 32 projectors in the 2,000 square feet room. It's nobody ever done something like this. I mean, current immersive exhibitions that are available for Van Gogh, they cover, if we take the same room size, we're only talking about 10 laser projectors, and I'm having 3 times more, 32 projectors to do the same thing. The second scene we envision is after the tornado, we're going to be in the Munchkin lands where we're going to have a lot of flowers all over the place. Munchkin may be waving. We're going to have a yellow brick road that is going to be moving under the feet of people so they can theoretically stay in one place and experience that immersive experience. Of course, on the background, all the way far away, they will see the Emerald City. While they're traveling to the Emerald City, they're gonna go through something called Dark Forest. So a little bit scary piece, but we'll try to make sure that you have every elements out there.
So the flying monkeys will fly by.
We're not sure how
You're
far
not
we're
sure
gonna
how-
do
okay.
because it's all computer animation or
Right.
rendering, and it requires a lot of work to make something like that happen. The fourth piece is going to be in that not everybody aware of. It's in a poppy field. So you're going to have poppy fields from both sides. And what has happened, it's in the book, but it's not in the movie. There is the scene where they fall asleep. And of course, Dorothy and the Toto was rescued by a Tin Man and Scarecrows. They'd be able to carry them to the outside to the yellow brick road. But line was too heavy for them to do it. Mm-hmm. So what's happened is Tin Man started to build the wagon. And the Scarecrow during that time, saved the mouse from the cat. So Mouse ended up being the queen of all the mice. So she asked him, how can I help you? And she said, well, we have it lying on a wagon, and we would like you to help us to call all your mice, and so they can bring the string and we can tie it to the wagon, and they can
pull the wagon.
Pull the wagon.
Wow.
So one of the scenes is going to be is where people standing, they will see in front of them, they will see the wagon moving toward them, that being pushed by Scarecrow and Tin Man. But between their feet, they will see the mice.
Oh, the mice.
Oh, boy.
Oh,
This
boy.
the strings
A lot of screaming.
pulling
Oh,
it.
boy.
Okay, so there's might be elements of screaming right there too. But I
Do you
think
allow
it's
running?
fun.
Can we run?
Well, that's why the fire department want me to have a fire exit.
Yeah, right? Yeah, maybe you'll need it. I see that now.
And the last scene is going to be the Emerald City. The idea here, it's in Emerald City, people have parties, and we're planning to have a party with the music and everything else. We're going to have around 10 main characters that everybody knows, like Dorothy, Scarecrow, Tin Man, etc., etc. But idea here introduces many as possible new characters, because in 40 Oz books, there's over 700 different characters. There's even a book that called Who is Who in Oz that give the definition where that specific character show up in which book.
Wow.
So it's supposed to be eye-opener, and we're going to have some characters like TikToks that some people might know from the movie called Return to Oz. We might have a China girl that appeared in the book, but in a recent movie called Disney Oz and Great and Powerful, there was a China girl character, and we can have it like Patchwork Girl from another book. So there's names that might be known to some of the listeners.
Interesting. What about, now I noticed over in the back over here, you have a bunch of puppets. So tell us what the puppets are from.
The puppets that I have on a display, they were being used in 1950s and 60s performances by the International Wizard of Oz Club member, who was the illustrator at the time. His name is Bill Eubank, and he created those puppets himself, using as close as possible to characters in the book. So you have the characters there, like you can see Scarecrow with the crown. It's because he became the king in book number 9, that called Scarecrow of Oz.
Gotcha.
You see some other characters like the Lost King right there with the ruler and scissors on his.
So the puppets were just made to reflect the book, but they weren't like a puppet show. It wasn't like you could go. Oh, there was.
Oh, there was puppet shows,
Okay.
and I have original drops that was used in the performance, and all of those puppets are original. I think the Smithsonian expressed interest to obtain them, but I said I'm opening my own museum. That's where they're going to be displayed.
Nice.
Wow.
Wow, man.
You know, whatever is interesting as well is that Michael Jackson did, what was it, Return to Oz?
No, Wiz.
The Wiz.
The Wiz. Thank you. I'm sorry. Okay. And so now I never saw that. I didn't see it. So did you see it? I mean, I don't know if it was anything close to what this was, but.
Well, it was 1970s, and of course, Michael Jackson was there, but I did like the songs, and actually for theme parties that I was mentioned earlier in Emerald City, I choose the song from that musical.
Oh, well, that's good. All right. There also was another, look at the Broadway play, Wicked.
Well, we have a Wicked going on because in 1994, Greg McGuire wrote The Wicked, and that's the story where the Wicked came from before she joining the Wizard of Oz. And it's getting popular, and it's one of the hits, most watched show on Broadway for the past 25 years. And I think they're right now in the process of making the movie Wicked.
Oh, you know what time it
Here we
is.
go. All right.
All right, guys, it's time to find out what we do know and what we don't know. It's time for Space Coast Trivia, brought to you by Longboard Tiki Beach Grill. So, and I think this time I actually get to play, which is fantastic. Coming out of retirement.
Yes, that is true.
We've
So-
missed you these past couple of weeks, yes.
Well, you guys have done fantastic.
Yeah, you guys have done very well.
I want Fred on my side.
Oh, man, cheater. That's right, Bonnie. We can take him.
Okay, yeah, we can.
I have to switch the things, but I have John and Wayne on the same team, and then I have.
Oh, okay.
there you go.
All right.
All right.
All right.
So it's me and Fred.
You have to
Okay.
deal with me, Pop. Sorry.
You're stuck with him for life.
Sorry.
I've been dealing with him all my life anyway, so what's another day?
Yeah, what the heck?
All right, so these questions are about the Wizard of Oz. So Fred, I mean, you.
Oh, Fred, you should
probably
be
Can we give him like a 5-second delay on
Right.
his buzz or something?
Right. Okay. So how we play, Fred? If you know the answer, just say your name. Okay. So don't blurt out the answer yet, and then once I acknowledge you, you can go ahead and answer the question. Okay.
We should get a lifeline,
Because he's
Dad.
keeping score. Yeah.
Like, call a friend or something. We should be able to do that.
Right.
All right. First question. Which song was almost cut out of Wizard of Oz? Is it If I Only Had a Brain, The Lollipop
John.
Guild? John?
I only had a brain.
That is incorrect.
Oh, it's a good shot.
You should have waited for the other answer.
I had to get an edge on him. Are you serious?
So is it If I Only Had a Brain, The Lollipop Guild, We're Off to See the Wizard, or Over the Rainbow?
The lily, Bonnie.
Bonnie?
Bonnie, the lily. The lily, the bee, whatever you said, bee, lily.
The Lollipop Guild?
Yeah, thank you.
Lily. She's making her
I
own
don't know
answer.
where I came from that.
It is Over the Rainbow.
That's what I was
Oh,
ready
wow.
to say,
Over
but
the- You
Well, you should have said it. You're on a team. I got to win.
that's the
All
best
right.
song, and it's
We're
supposed to
tied.
be
Why in the
And they-
world?
what,
I
they almost
wonder
cut that
why
out?
they would cut that out.
So it says Over the Rainbow was the biggest popular hit of 1939, but it was almost cut from the film during process of test screenings and final editing. One report that the studio head thought the song was too sad.
That just goes to
Oh.
show you these people don't know what they're talking about because that was a hit, major hit.
All right, second question. What was used to simulate snow in the poppy scene? Is it cornflakes, powdered sugar, asbestos, or salt?
Fred,
Fred.
asbestos.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Asbestos.
That
I
would be
wonder-
banned today.
Can you imagine? Wonder how many people got sick off that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't eat snow.
Right.
Wow.
All right. Third question. How much did the Munchkin actors earn per week of filming? Is it $50, $100, $200, or $150?
Whoa.
Bonnie, I'll just say I'm gonna say $100 bucks.
Okay.
I would say 150 because I think I remember number 125, but I don't know how to make it.
You guys might as well throw a guess out there.
50.
It's
Let's say
50.
50. Yay!
Oh, then I'm mixing up with the Dorothy.
So
right,
they made
the
$50 a week.
Yeah, the dog actually earned $125.
That's what I was thinking. That's
Toto.
where I got lost.
Toto was the big earner. The Munchkins were
right.
they were
50.
overlooked, no pun intended or anything. But they were,
John.
I'm just saying.
All right. What makes the Wicked Witch melt? And I have this in here. So what happens here?
You cursed brat! Look what you've done!
Bonnie.
Water.
Water.
It is
Water. Yeah.
Oh, what a world! What a
Yeah.
world! Not a good little girl like you!
So we lost.
No, we got one more.
One more.
Oh, we
all
got
right,
one
all right,
more,
Pop.
okay.
This is our chance to take it back.
This
right
is
here.
it.
Be quiet, Bunny.
Be quiet.
No, I want to win.
Oh,
So,
All right.
speak up, Fred.
So the Wizard of Oz did not win the Academy Award that year. Which
Wayne.
movie did?
Gone with the Wind.
Oh.
Are you serious?
Wow.
he didn't finish sentence yet.
He just
He
did.
did-
Yeah.
He's a history
He knew
buff.
the-
No,
Yeah.
I knew that because my mother was a movie
Oh, I knew
buff.
that too, but he didn't
And-
finish the answer. Question.
When
good job,
in
man.
1939, everyone just assumed that the Wizard of Oz was going to win,
Right.
And they were stunned when the Gone with the Wind won it,
Nice.
which was another great movie.
It is.
Wow.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Space Coast Trivia brought to you by Longboard Tiki Beach Grill.
Learn
And-
something new.
Let me tell you, Longboard Tiki Beach Grill, yet another great amenity here on the Space Coast. They're located at the Hilton of Cocoa Beach. And when you're on the beach, so many of our guests do come. When you're coming off that beach, that's where you're going to come off. They actually have 2 tiki huts, we'll call
Yes,
them.
yes.
Two tiki bars.
One big giant one.
Huge, massive one.
Huge, big one, and
big
then
thatched roofs. They got many TVs for the sports. They've got, and let me tell you, talk about the food. Their salad is absolutely incredible. Their steak is absolutely incredible, and they got some fantastic drinks. So when a nice warm day on the beach and you're coming off, go by the Longboards Tiki Beach Grill. Check out the food, check out the drinks, watch some football, and have a great time. And we appreciate you as a sponsor there, Longboard. So thank you so much.
Absolutely. Longboardstiki.com.
Yeah,
Go
this
check it
weather
out
is
and look
great.
at the pictures. Yeah. Oh,
This
the weather.
is great now.
Isn't
I
it?
have to go.
This is the perfect time, as I've
Yeah.
always said, when you sit out there on those little couches and they'll have the
They
fire
got
going.
cool furniture, right?
They've got very cool furniture, and it's a great place to have a drink and just enjoy the ambiance of that whole area. And right now with the weather, the weather just changed, as we all know. Like this last week and a half, you can feel fall in the air, and
and it's
beautiful
open
night.
to the public, so please go check them out. They're awesome.
And the moon. Did you guys see the moon last night?
Full moon.
Oh man,
Yeah, it's actually 2 days in a row, if I'm not mistaken.
you are absolutely right.
We get up at 3:45 in the morning to go to the gym, Dad and I, and yeah, so we meet at the gym, and the past 2 mornings, because I'm always looking at the sky going, what am I doing? And I happen to notice that the moon
So
was
if
full
you
moon.
wake up at 3:45 in the morning, what time you go to bed?
At night.
Yeah.
Sometimes too
About
late.
9.
Well, yeah. I've got 2 little ones, so sometimes it could be 11 o'clock midnight.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm feeling it. But
I would
yeah.
say, well, good for you guys. I
Thank you.
admire that you guys go do that.
great way to start
So
the day.
Fred, out of this whole museum, what do you like? What gets to your heartstring? Probably everything, but I mean, there has to be something that you really lean into.
Well, I really like the collect the item that it's one of a kind type of things. That there's not mass production. For example, I own the copy that dated May 23rd of 1900. That is first known copy that exists, right? So it's a pre-publication copy. There's maybe less than 15 of them available that survived. And the next known copy, for example, dated sometimes in June, it's in New York Public Library rare book section. It was Frank Baum to his mother.
Wow.
The story behind my copy is that dated May 23rd is the guy who financed the publishing got the book before the Frank Baum.
Awesome.
And he dated and give it that book to his grandson.
So,
So-
what was the most difficult thing you had to get? Like, what took you the longest to get that you wanted?
Well, I want to get the puppets.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the huge convincing someone to sell it to me. This is the thing. I mean, I have a flying monkey that used in the 1925 silent movie Wizard of Oz.
Neat.
It's one of a kind type of thing. I have some photographs that, like Frank Baum reading the book to his children, and actually the book being Wonderful Wizard of Oz, one of a kind photograph. I have another book. It's called Gentle Reminders. That is from Frank Baum family, from his father and mother. Inside there's a notes and illustrations and writing. So those are the stuff that it's, to me, it's very rare, one of a kind. You could
So
not.
you have been collecting this for many, many years, right?
Yes.
Where do you keep this as you're collecting it? I mean, you don't just throw it in the
Well,
garage
I
in the
kept it at
corner.
home,
Okay.
in a safe.
Gotcha.
Right, but now it's in a display, and probably most valuable items probably gonna go on a safe on a overnight,
Awesome.
for in case of fire or something like that.
Right.
Wow. The other interesting thing is behind us over here is the animated figures that you have. I know kids are going to enjoy. Your kids love the animation, but we were going to turn it on, but I think it might have interrupted with some of our sound. But it's very cool, and I think that's going to be, kids are going to love that. The great thing about the museum, just like you said, the educational, yes, because there's definitely a lot of things that you're going to look at, you're going to read about, and you're going to get that history. But the children that come here, they're going to be interested in all the displays that you've got with the characters and the things of that nature. So I think you've hit it with the whole family. The whole family can come and enjoy. The other interesting thing is that, can you imagine the people that come in are going to be talking about just like when Wayne was talking and said, I remember when I saw it for the first time. I think everybody remembers there's some part of the Wizard of Oz that people carry with them, either when they saw it for the first time or that something happened in the movie that maybe, they just feel for it. Do you know what I'm saying? And I think you're going to hear a lot of cool stories when people come in here and actually start looking at all these wonderful collectible items that you do have, and they'll be able to give their story. Everybody's got a story.
Yes, and the way I see it, on the display at the kids level, for example, I have Wizard of Oz characters in the, actually cats in the Wizard of Oz characters. So anybody who likes cats might look at that section and say, wow, this is cool. Somebody might look at the books that was printed in the 1960s and remember their parents or grandparents reading that specific book. I have collectors who have the set of books that's sitting in the shelves and from their childhood, and they will never part with them because the minute they look at that, it reminds them of some type of memory from the past. And of course, the book by itself, The Wizard of Oz, when it's read at different stages of as a child or as the adult or the grown-up, it's had more meaning to it because of the life experience and everything else that's involved, whoever is reading the book. So I think the idea here is somehow to associate some things that you have interest, being this geography, history, art, English language, literature. Find something and that you will learn something new, and hopefully that will help you to explore more in the land of Oz.
Wow.
Oh, that's said very well.
Yes.
You know, there's so much when you talk about the history that's here. Isn't it interesting? Colleges, they actually have courses in a lot of different things. I'm surprised that they don't have a course in maybe the Wizard of Oz. Because as you said, there's so much to the Wizard of Oz and so much history to it. And I only bring that up because I'm a big Beatle fan, and there's actually courses in college that are on the Beatles.
Are you serious?
No, I'm serious.
Yes. Wow.
And so I'm just saying, if they can do
Wow.
it for the Beatles, I would imagine what you can get through the Wizard of Oz.
Because they contributed so much to the history in the country. And
Right.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Gotcha.
And I was reading somewhere that there is a professor at some of the university actually teaching history of United States from early 1900s, tying that to the Wizard of Oz books.
Nice.
Because that's in the book, the scarecrow represent the farmers, Tin Man represent industrial and railroad people, Cover the Line represents William Jennings Bryan at the time, who was nominee by Democratic Party in 1896, right at the time when Baum was writing the Wizard of Oz book. So it influenced him. Dorothy was representing common people at the time, and
See, you don't realize that. You just
And
think
you
they're-
don't even think about that when you see the Wizard of Oz. I mean, to me, the Wizard of Oz is all about being a child and seeing seeing life in the good way. You know what I mean? And it's like
there was a lot of controversy with this.
with the Wizard of Oz.
In the producing of the movie. Now, as I understand it, the book was written to for children 7 and above. But when they made the movie, they produced it to be attractive to children 12 and above, because they were afraid that it was going to be too scary and too fearful for younger kids because of the Wicked Witch and the flying
Right.
monkeys and all of these kinds of things. Now, I remember very clearly, I was 8 years old. That was almost 70 years ago. And my parents took me to see this movie. And I remember aunts and uncles saying, "Are you sure you want to take Wayne to see this?" But they took me, and I strategically sat between my mother and my father. And that's to console me in the event that I got scared. Now, I never did get scared. I did get very concerned, and I was a little bit frightened when the tornado hit the house and she was knocked out, and she landed in a field of, I think it was poppies.
no, she
Daisies,
first in the
right?
Munchkin's land.
Oh, yeah, with the Munchkins. And she no longer was she around Auntie Em or her uncle or her house. She didn't know where she was. And I remember being very frightened about that. But I was soothed when she made a friend who was the Scarecrow. And the
Gotcha.
Scarecrow became her friend and helped her. And at the end, when she was ready to go back, and the Glinda, the
good witch.
The good witch.
the good witch was going to send her back home, and she was saying goodbye to each one of them. She told the Scarecrow, "I'm going to miss you most of all," and I remember that vividly. And I was so relieved and happy that she found the Scarecrow.
But see, that's your story. What a great story that is. I liked the fact that there was a beautiful witch. That stuck with me because you always think of witches as being wearing the black and looking looking like a witch.
Well,
so to
they
speak.
made her green. And that scared a lot of children.
Yes.
Well, you're talking about the good witch or the bad witch?
No, the bad witch.
Oh.
Okay, I mean that's what I associated
Good
with.
witch wasn't a witch. She was a fairy.
Well, but
She's a witch.
she's
She was the sister, right?
She was a good witch, and
Good witch.
but for me, I remember as a child, I just really related to her. I loved her. Now, I have to say, I don't have a life size here of the Good Witch, do we?
No, that's the only
No.
one I do not have.
All right. Well, I think that
Well, I bought a
Maybe
Yorkie
we'll
many
see
years
that in the
ago,
future.
and then maybe that's because of this movie. Because wasn't Toto a Yorkie?
I don't know. Was he a
I think
Yorkie?
He was a Yorkie. I'm pretty sure he was.
No, it was a cairn. It was a cairn.
That's why I would say.
It was
So
a
I
cairn.
bought the wrong dog. Oh,
Cairn.
Take it back.
Wait a minute.
was
Wait a minute.
Or can or
How do you spell that? I never.
CAIRN. Cairn.
Never.
Never heard of that dog.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it was a cute little thing, and he made $125 a week, right?
yeah. What a. That's great.
I still don't understand why the dog would make more money than a human.
You want to know why, honestly? Because, in my opinion, anyways, that thing was iconic. That dog was iconic. And so I think that, a lot of these movies, maybe today they unionize more, but a lot of the movies was based on what kind of attraction you're drawing. And that dog, in my opinion, was a big draw to that movie.
I'm thinking too. The dog had more. You had to do more work with the dog,
Right,
So that you
compare.
had to pay the handler. You had to,
Oh,
do
okay.
a lot
Well,
of-
yeah.
Well,
I
maybe
see.
that
Yeah.
answer was right. I don't know.
Maybe
I
it
don't know.
wasn't. It was the handler. Okay, they got that.
Fred, how do you feel about movie remakes? Like, let's say they were going to remake this movie in 2022. Would you be cool with that, or are you like, no, I'm going to stick with the original?
Theoretically, they are in the process right now remaking The Wizard of Oz.
Ah,
Wow.
Really?
So right. So if you search on the internet and Google, you will notice that.
I wonder who's playing the parts.
I think I know who is playing it, but I don't remember the name.
Kim
But if you
Kardashian.
Google it, it's
Yeah, I think he's going to Google it. Now I'm very curious.
Being the age that I'm at, I would be very sad if they did a remake of it.
Yeah, really.
Because it's obviously going to change it in some fashion. But for somebody who is now 5, 6, or 7 years of age, they're going to see the
Right.
new version, and they're going to forget about the old version. And there's a certain amount of art that's going to be lost in that. So I'm sad to see that they're going to do that.
I look at it differently and to a degree because I'm obviously a different generation, and that I think that they're going to be introduced to it by the new version. But I think a lot of folks are going to go, you know what? Now let's show
gotta
you the
keep it.
original. I think
Right.
they'll go back and say, let me show you the original, because I know we do that a lot of cases with our kids and whatnot. So I think I agree that it's going to be a degree of it going to be lost, but I'm hoping that the crossover will be okay. You've watched this, now let me show you the original one.
But I would hope that if they did remake it, that they would keep that same emotional feeling and all that in there, so that you would get the same.
Well, they're probably going to do a lot more technically than was
Well,
able
that's
to
true.
be done. But
Yeah.
the original version, and correct me if I'm wrong, Fred, the original version was so technically advanced for its time. That's
Exactly.
what the draw to it was.
Right.
Yeah.
I have an advertisement there from 1939, and at that time when they advertised the movies, they throw a lot of numbers and the fact we have so many people. We spent hours on this. We have 120 musicians in the musical. So at the time, getting the colors, it was one of the most advanced things. It's like same things that I'm doing right now with the immersive room.
Right, which is why they thought they were going to win the Academy Award with all that stuff. And then look what happened.
Yeah, there's also another fact about the Wizard of Oz movie. In Italy, I forgot exactly the name of the town. They did the research of 47,000 movies that it's in a database, and which film was influenced the people more. And number one was The Wizard of Oz
Really?
from 47,000 movies.
Wow.
They analyzed, yeah. And as far as the remakes, there's way more in the book than it is in the movie, right? So with each remake, they can introduce more and more closer to the book, because back then it cost a lot of money to produce those type of movies. But these days, I would not be surprised if somebody just remake The Wizard of Oz and continue making movies for the rest of the books. Because to me, the Wizard of Oz books is more popular like at the time that the Harry Potter series now, because you have it internet, you have radio, television, everything else. In early 1900s, you only have books to read. So
Right.
Oz books are the main way of entertain.
Gotcha.
Did you find out anything?
So there's no cast yet, but New Line Cinema has picked it up, and the producers from the Twilight series and La La Land are going to be creating it.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
All right. Well, we'll
So
check
that's
it
why I
out to
didn't
see.
know.
So, one thing I want to mention too that is, yes, the museum is closed, and we're waiting for it to open, hopefully in November. But meanwhile, your gift shop is open. So when you're traveling down the road here on A1A here in Cape Canaveral, and you see the Wizard of Oz sign, you can stop in and look at your gift shop. And some of the things that you have there are collectible items.
Right. In the gift shop, theoretically, I have divided in two sections. One section is more like general merchandise, and another section is collectible merchandise that I have a duplicate that I could not place in the museum because of the space issue. Because right now I have 38 cabinets and all of them full, and what I'm going to do is extra pieces. So I put them there so
Very
people to grab it and enjoy it.
Wow. Well, fantastic. You got the heck of a display here with all the
Yes,
different
you
things you
do.
have. And that's a good time to actually talk about another great thing here in the Space Coast Deal of the Day, brought to you by SpaceCoastFunGuide.com and Space Coast Fun Guide. So for our listeners that are out of state, that they know they're planning their vacation to come here, go on SpaceCoastFunGuide.com, learn what to do and where to do it. And when you're in market, pretty much at every accommodation or attraction, find your Space Coast Fun Guide, pick it up. There's coupons and attractions, restaurants, things of that nature. Today's Space Coast Fun Guide Deal of the Day is brought to you by Airboat Rides of Midway. They're located in Christmas, Florida, and many people will tell you when you come to Florida, you got to go on an airboat ride. It's a real way to experience Florida, real nature. Come see an alligator. Fantastic, Bon. I know you've been out there many times.
Love it.
They're an awesome attraction. They've got private tours. They've got night tours. They got all kinds of different options. And when you get done on the airboat ride, and by the way, it's not just alligators either. You see eagles. You see all kinds of different wildlife. Like cows, right? And when
Had
you
to bring that up.
when you get done off the airboat ride, you actually can hold a baby alligator. They have those. Plus, they have a pet store. They've got a gift shop, with birds and all kinds of different animals, snakes, all kinds of stuff. So check them out. Airboat Rides in Midway. We got a $6 off per adult group in the Space Coast Fun Guide. Go see them. Tell them that we sent you. You'll have an absolute blast.
Great. And as we're sitting here talking about the gift shop, we just had some people walk into the gift shop. So Fred has gone over there to check them out and to welcome them to the area. But we want to thank him for showing us. Thank you, Fred, for letting us see this wonderful museum. Just keep tabs and find out when we are going, when this will open. Were you going to say something, Wayne?
Yeah, I'm looking at the pair of red shoes.
Yes.
That I guess is a replica of the pair that Judy Garland wore as Dorothy, and there were actually three sets of those shoes that they had, but the main one that Dorothy wore was in a Grand Rapids museum in Minnesota and was stolen, and they found them 13 years later. And presented them back to the museum. But it's interesting. Guess who owned those shoes at that time? Debbie Reynolds.
Oh, wow.
The actress.
Boy, you're just full of trivia today. You've just been doing your research, haven't you?
Yeah. Wow.
I love it. Well, Fred, thank you so much for showing this to us, and we really appreciate the time that you've taken, and we really look forward to this opening. I think people are going to really, really enjoy it. Just another thing that we get to promote on Florida Space Coast. So we look forward to that. Next week, our guest is going to be our Sheriff Wayne Ivey. He is a very interesting person here on the Space Coast. Sheriff Ivey has made a name for himself in the national news. He has very creative approaches to safety, and he has his Wheel of Fugitives and his Fishing for Fugitives, where he hooks them and books them. And he has a video that he makes, and he shows who he's going after. But he is a very good community leader, and we really want to recognize what he does. So he'll be our guest next week, and we will be on location at the at the Longboards Tiki Grill.
So we
is
are
where we'll
off
be.
to meet the sheriff.
We are off to meet the sheriff. We sure will. It'll be a fun time.
It's going to be a safe time. I can promise you that.
That's for sure. It'll be fun. But thank you again, Fred, for all this. We really appreciate it, and we look forward to seeing you all next week.
That's a wrap.
You're off to see the wizard, the wonderful Wizard of Oz. To find he is a wiz of a whiz, if ever a whiz there was. If ever, oh, ever a whiz there was, the Wizard of Oz is one because of the wonderful things he does. You're off to see the wizard.